and a Thresh or a Bard for Ole. It just fits what Immortals wants to do, and that was one thing we said coming into this series is they're a little telegraphed in the champions that they want to play. They love Jarvan and Renekton in the top lane. They love a big damage dealer like Corki in the mid lane. They love Jhin, Thresh, and Bard in the bottom lane too. So you know what you're going to get for the most part against Immortals.
Can be hard to stop though, as a Gragas ban from CLG actually showing a lot of respect to the pick here. I mean, Omar could play it here again. Maybe don't want to first pick it, so I'm going to ban that one away. And 2 tanks on the other side for IMC with Zac, Cho'Gath, and there's Maokai banned away as well.
This means they get Caitlyn if they want it, which is huge for Stixxay, and also a good matchup into Kalista, which would be the other one that goes through. The problem, though, is there's already 5 jungle bans, and Xmithie can just get Jarvan again, which he's seen picking over all the other ones as well. So very targeted at the tanks that are big on this patch, like the Maokai and the Cho. Xmithie most likely going to pick Jarvan here, and then we're going to see what Omar God has left.
Have to see indeed, as I think Thresh also likely to come through here. Great support in general, arguably the most picked. Ole's most played champion, if not very close to that here, and certainly one he is more than comfy on. So I think Thresh Jarvan sets up your draft well, very safe picks, can still flex as well. Flam has played plenty of Jarvan alongside Renekton this split, and even though Xmithie is the one kind of taking J4 into battle in most of these recent games, can flex it if they need it, although Jhin actually going to get locked in. So Cody, happy with this matchup, just not sure what's going to get taken away, but it doesn't show them anything either.
This is actually really interesting to me because they've pretty freely prioritized the Jarvan previously, and they don't need to lock in the Jhin now because there's already the Caitlyn shown on the other side. So this tells me that Xmithie has something more that he's willing to pull out, not just the Jarvan. We still know Rek'Sai exists. He's played some Nidalee games in there. He could still go with Lee Sin if he wants to pick something out later. And Immortals still have that option to go with something different. Or they also just think CLG's not going to take the Jarvan.
Yeah, Xmithie even has a Rumble jungle game from yesterday, I believe. So that guy is willing to do a lot of different things in the jungle, that's for sure. But we'll see exactly what CLG have after this Blitzcrank pick. Aphromy clearly wanting to take that champion again. And there's a Syndra actually very early for Hu here. They're kind of blocking off a lot of potential picks for Pobelter.
Yeah, I mean, CLG going for a strong laning pick composition right here. Very few things beat Syndra in lane. LeBlanc would be one thing that has a chance of getting ahead with it.
I'm actually going to move away from it into potential. This is interesting. We'll see what Immortals lock in here, but if Taliyah is the selection, normally you want to protect this pick in phase 2 with your bans, but you already know what mid laner you're playing against, so Pobelter kind of counter-picking himself here.
A little bit. I mean, Taliyah was picked by Huhi last game with the opportunity for Pobelter to counterpick, and he picked Galio with Syndra available. So I think it's something that Pobelter doesn't think is a hard counter, speaking more to why he'd be willing to pick it here. I think it definitely applies a lot of pressure to Taliyah, and Pobelter's going to have to be very careful.
Well, there's Fiora ban for Immortals, so all right, getting that out of the way. Don't want Darshan to have another split pusher. I wonder if something like the Jax will follow there for Immortals, but we'll find out in a second, as there's the Jarvan ban from CLG. So yeah, another jungler getting taken away from Immortals.
And Xmithie, you're going to sleep on junglers. We're going to keep banning them. That's 6 jungler bans now. We could get up to 8 jungle bans if these teams get real crazy. But there are so many good options in the jungle right now. I think Cinderhulk enables a massive amount of picks. And then the old guys still work. So one of the hardest roles to ban out, but these teams are going to try.
Yep, there's a Sidwani ban actually from Immortals, so it can leave the Jackson, any other split pusher alone for now. And CLG like, all right, what's his next play jungler? I guess we maybe ban that one out here, or perhaps there's another part of the plan. I mean, Rek'Sai's kind of the one you mentioned earlier that could be a thing, but I mean, he's played just about everything, as there's a Renekton ban instead, so kind of doubling down on top lane.
Yeah. Olaf still exists in the jungle, something Xmithie could be good at, or Omar God for that matter. They both played it in the LCS, even though Omar God has played a limited amount of games. Warwick would be another tank jungler that could work. It's normally the Stixxay hover.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I'm like, that's not Stixxay, so a little surprising there, but not Mordekaiser, it is Rek'Sai. The jungle pick there, pairing nicely with his mid laner as well. Yeah. Again, so much pressure that Xmithie can apply with this pick.
If there was ever a time that Stixxay would be allowed to lock in Warwick, it would be now. With 8 junglers off the table and still being a good Cinderhulk user. But even stuff like Lee Sin is still available if they want to get picks on the Jhin or Taliyah. not the greatest pick into a Rek'Sai. Still a lot of different options in the jungle, even with so many bans.
Well, where are we going to go? It is Olaf by the looks of things.
I think that would make the most sense.
Yep, locked in there for CLG, and now one more pick to go. It looks like Darshan needs a top laner. Going to be a blind pick here with Immortals, still with their final pick to come.
Yeah, and they have a lot of options here, technically. Kled would be a good one. Just taking the Shen away, I mean, this is going to allow Flame to have a lane advantage on him, almost regardless, but they have gotten rid of Flame's two most prevalent champions, the Renekton and J4.
Immortals may be thinking that part of the issue last game was not enough damage. We've seen quite a lot of Jhin plus Talia. A lot of good CC, some good setup you can have, and good mobility, of course, from your mid lane, but sometimes lacking in damage. So maybe Immortals are thinking one tank's probably enough, and instead of the full damage on the Rumble, they'll go more of a bruiser in Kled. But Kled very disruptive, and it can do decent damage if he sticks on your carries. Yeah,
it is Flame's third most picked champion this split, even if it's far below his Renekton and J4 plays. I'm not a huge fan of Flame's laning phase on Kled. I think it's a difficult champion to lane with, but I am a fan of Flame's team fighting with it, and they have Kled, Talia is another champion combo that I think we see a lot of because both of them can initiate from very far away. Add that to the Jhin, and Immortals, again, have the tools to initiate team fights, something that they're very good at using. So still a composition that mostly fits them.
I think stylistically that's true for both these teams, actually. I mean, Immortals, you said it in game one, very scrappy kind of team, but do love to fight and are very good at it, so have picks to enable them there. Very stable mid and bot lane in particular with sticks they have in Caitlyn, and something like a Shen just really strikes me as a kind of pick CLG wanting to be playing more supportive, can protect a big carry like a Caitlyn, and of course can give Darshan a split push advantage. So I think the last draft is a lot of what we'd expect here, given how many jungle bans in particular were given out. And again, 7-14 seems to be that you have all these options, but at the end of the day, play what you know, especially in a game this important.
And in what world do we have 7 jungle bans and then get Rek'Sai versus Olaf? A month ago, that would have just been the 2 junglers you picked with no jungle bans. Either way, deciding game 3, and I do think both team compositions do fit the teams themselves stylistically, and I can't wait to see the clash.
Well, crowd is still here with us for our final game. It's been a long day in the Battle Arena, actually, Jet. I think you know. I think you know a thing or two about it, but it's our final game, and it's an important one. CLG vs Immortals for all the marbles. Well, at least first place here to move out onto Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, so the early game will be very crucial for CLG here. They have potentially winning lanes in the mid and the bottom side. Caitlyn technically bullies everyone, but Jhin is one of the good picks against it. And Thresh versus Blitz is a very skill shot reliant matchup. So that can swing in either way, and that's going to kind of dictate the game a little bit, because I think mid lane should push for Huhi, and top lane should push for Flame. And whoever has 2 out of 3 winning lanes then gets the invading jungler. So pretty important as I think CLG wants to make a move early.
Looks like Afro lining up another potential hook as some vision. Yep, putting the Raptor pit there. You can see CLG have a ward over, spotting out Xmithy. Fair trap on a rope, pulling Darshan away. Darshan going to pull that Q back and look to get some auto attacks down. Again, nothing crazy there at level 1. Looks like Afro's even backed off from his potential level 1 hook. So we'll see exactly where the junglers do want to go, because Omar's roaming back down for the red side of the map. That'd be a super lead here for CLG on the blue side.
Yeah, neck and neck, as have the seasons been. Same match record, 1-1 here. Immortals did take CLG down the first time they played, but none of that matters at this point. It's just who wins this game.
Omar again speeding through these Raptors on Olaf. No extra help there, just a bit of help actually from Huhi, so won't be completely flying through the jungle, but certainly not going to be slow. Smithy also soloing his first camp, but Rek'Sai pretty efficient as well as far as early clears go. Flame about to get dismounted by the looks of things. Yep, Flame gonna hop off Skull.
Yeah, Shen's level 1 actually pretty good against Kled. It's later on where Kled can just kind of run at him. I think Shen is of the better matchups versus Kled, especially if you dismount him. You still have your W that can prevent him from building up to remount with his vicious strikes. Third jump's gonna be all right in this matchup.
Yep. Well, Flame is going to have to hit as many minions as he can. Try and pistol Darshan. W on though, remounted, and by the way, it's troublesome to lane against
Sean
Kled.
didn't hit level 2. Nice ward there by Pobelter. Doesn't see just how low Omar is. Always have to worry about this when you're running Olaf. You want to be low to power clear, but you don't want to die. So should be safely able to power clear this one.
Yep, Smite up and ready to go, so going to be A-OK. Didn't even need it, probably is Smithy with some knowledge, checking the Raptor game. Oh, ganking mid lane, never mind. There's a knock-up onto who here now. Pobotter was not quite ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a very threatening chain into a seismic shove. Instead, he hits him then. Not as much damage from level 3 as later in the game.
Well, Smithy again continuing to take camps and had so many aggressive ganks this game. Omar's going to get spotted here. I think there's barely Flame dismounted though. It might be too late already. Oh, needs to build up, but he goes down. First blood over to Omar as Smithy's going to try and fight it out, but Omar popping the ghost and running away.
Omar just ahead of Xmithy by a couple of seconds. Flame was up there because he thought Xmithy was going to be down for a gank any second. Junglers kind of pass each other like ships in the night. Xmithy was not burrowed, so he didn't get Tremor Sense on Omar God until he shows in the ward. He was in the process of remounting.
Yeah, that was insanely close there. Looks like Smithy actually diving onto Darshan. He may have overstayed his welcome, gets bitten there, takes a big chunk of his health bar, but gonna be okay. As Flame did TP to lane to try and force that kill. Darshan, they're gonna make it out safely, and will likely TP back to lane.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty big for him. Xmithy tried to interrupt him with a recall, actually, by getting a Prey Seeker through to him. Could not. Double cloth armor on Shen, someone who can absolutely do that build. Gonna make it more difficult for Flame to get an advantage in that top lane.
Just got that single longsword right now, so Flame woefully behind the current tank stats of Darshan as we check in with the bottom lane. Even on CS so far, again, it's been very impressive to see Cody and Ole play out these 2v2s with this particular pairing, but Omar is back down to cause some trouble. Looking to make it another successful gank.
No ghost, so they would pretty much need a perfect hook from Aphromoo if this is to convert in any way.
All right, there it is.
That'll help.
Gonna get grabbed up there. Forcing flash dash from Omar. Gonna keep chasing there with the Qs from Ola. Probably enough here. Ignite's actually good, but the DOS is really nice from Ole. That's gonna be a kill. Cody able to turn it around.
Yeah, no ghost on Olaf. He's not gonna be able to help out that much. Ole pulls him back. The exhaust delays enough damage, and Omar gets overly ambitious. Flash hook!
Does land on Ole. That's going to be a kill. Stixay going to grab the one he wanted.
Aphromoo, second game in a row on Blitz. He's warmed up now.
Yep. Calibrated the
Hook.
robot. And Afro actually going to spot Xmithy. He's not going to burrow over. Still a 2v2. Afro. Little low, no summoners, so that could be troublesome. But Cody with the flash. Not enough damage just from one shot alone.
Yeah, it's turning into a party down here. Pobelter's surfed his way down. Not quite level 6, but still trying to roam quick. Action-packed start to this one. A lot of action from the junglers. Hook barely through the minions. You can see him knocked up right there. Stixay doesn't get the trap because of the instant flash from Ole. That delays just enough. Then a flay and exhaust into the turret to keep Omar slow. Turret finishes him off, but then flash, hook, Ole in the turret. Can't juke side to side. Perfect moment for Afro to go. Gets the kill anyway.
Great split-second decision-making for sure. As we check back in with Pobelter, who's returned to his mid lane. Level 6 on both these junglers, but Afro's got other plans. Roaming up towards this mid lane, maybe looking for a hook. 6A on a recall anyway. Returns to that bot side with BF Sword, and looks like Cody's son doing the same with Swifties and 2 longswords. So a good time for Afro to look for a play, but Pobelter playing pretty safe with Blitzcrank missing. Flame again, kind of taking some beatings here in the top lane, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, Flame's laning phase on the likes of Renekton or J4 much stronger than his Kled. Darshan definitely matching him pretty well. Taunts forward though, as Xmithy is hunting.
Darshan,
no flash or taunt on Darshan.
Flame not going to fight out again. Kind of baited him in, but also the bait maybe on the other side is Omar going to land this all up. Flame needs a lot more courage, flashes out just as Darshan was threatening with another taunt. So summon a spell burn. Omar with another great bit of timing.
Yeah, Ghost does not ult. Could have ulted if he really wanted to run through, but didn't have total confidence that Pobelter wouldn't be able to close in afterwards. And also has the recent memory of the over-aggression bottom lane where he took turret shots. So right place, right time for Omar. Unable to get the kill that time.
Certainly protecting Darshan though, who could have been vulnerable there. Pobelter getting his lane pushed in. Lots of wave clear wars here in this particular mid lane matchup, but Sorkshu's up for Huhi getting stronger as the matchup continues, and he's 10 CS ahead, so Feeling okay there. Pobelter much more defensive for this early itemization. I imagine that'll be Banty's first with the 2 Dorans and a non-magic mantle, but we'll see exactly where he wants to go.
Actually, as someone who can get away with no Morellonomicon early, can skip out on the Lost Chapter for a little while as long as you go double Dorans. But Syndra is worthy for the Magic Resist. Understand that build from Pobelter.
Looks like things have settled back down here in the bottom lane, but after all that pressure, Stixxay and his BF sword kind of holding Dominion over this bottom side as they get the push going. And Omar checking for Smithy, now going to find him. Nothing to steal though. Smithy with the Bummy Cinder ticking away, going to help him take down that wolf camp. Omar also with the same, but again, just kind of poking down and covering this bot lane once again, making sure he keeps track of Smithy.
Yeah, and Omar kind of pushing Smithy out of his jungle. They might want to dive here with Shen.
That's more than track. Afro gets him, but he gets snared up by
tough.
Ole going to try and make it happen as Omar puts him in the ulti, but again the turret's on him. Cody going to try and get the side, but Smithy executes him with the ultimate. Afro is going to go down as well. This has been disaster for CLG. Stixxay again, they're getting aggressed on, but who he takes down? Pobelter chases him very far towards the base.
Pretty much a disastrous dive, all things considered, for CLG. They do not get any damage on an Ole, and Flame looked like he interrupted Darshan's stand united to prevent him from chaining with the taunt. Omar not feeling too hot about those bottom lane dives. And CLG really did have Immortals kind of where they wanted them. Immortals is the type of team that loves to make a lot of plays, and Shen blocks that for the most part. Previously, when Immortals played against Shen, Flame has just destroyed the Shen so hard that it just hasn't been a threat. This time CLG decides to go early. Omar wants the kill, but Aphromoo can't get in range. Omar doesn't have a Shen coming with him, and just too many shots from the turret. Quickly goes down. By the way, Kuhi just decided to kill Pobelter on the way. The auto attack trade. Watch this though. Flame ulting in. Bop. Right back out. Super clean interrupt.
Yep. Darshan can't make it, so fight turns back over in favor of Immortals. Gold lead still there for CLG. They're 500 up in this one, but Immortals will be happy to kind of get things back to even keel. And like you said, a team that does love to make plays, so maybe looking with a more neutral map to set something for themselves now. Now that kind of CLG's playmaking tools are on cooldown for the next few minutes.
Yeah, both summoners burned by both mid laners as well. We'll have to see if Pobelter can have a larger impact on this game, because he's itemized pure defensively with Mercury Tread, still died in the laning phase. And that's not going to allow for Immortals to have that much control.
Yeah, feels tough here. Again, Kuhi, the stronger he gets, the harder the lane will be, especially moving through the pretty critical mid-game. Huhi though with no flash, going to get flash knocked up there by Smithy. Ulti out there on the Pobelter, but that's going to be the kill for Rek'Sai. TP down for CLG, but that's a waste from Darshan's Flame. Oh, hello. Looks like Omar could be the target. Does have his ulti. Great Ragnarok through the W there from Jhin.
Smithy, very clutch gank right there, knowing mid laners are down summoner spells. First jungler to join wins. If they're going to be trading like that in the mid lane, going straight for the Ocean Bridge.
And if Flame's going to TP down, might as well take this Drake away. The Flame's actually left, never mind, he's in mid lane right now, but numbers advantage there for Immortals. Already got the picks, and should be an easy first Mountain Drake over to them. Omar is nowhere to be found. Actually in the mid lane right now, which they can see, so very easy Drake for IMT to pick up, and they do get it.
Yeah, no ult, no ghost for Omar, so not much he'd be able to do about that. Smithy and Cody's son, the two hopes for Immortals right now. Cody's Jhin has been solid the whole series. Potentially too much of a tank line for him to cut through on Jhin this game if Shen and Olaf get really tanky, but as long as he's able to shoot Kuhi and Stixxay, he will be A-okay.
Yep, Dustblade already finished as well, so I'm curious to see if they start playing around the early powers of Jhin, or if IMT can just find a straight up 2v2 advantage, given that Stixxay will still be scaling up. But again, Caitlyn just wants to farm it out, so as long as IMT don't find any crazy angles, things should be all right here.
Yeah, still an incredibly close game. We know Caitlyn has great late game scaling. We know Kled has great late game scaling.
Oh, wow. Ole. That was a massive hook, actually, into the box as well. Stand United is going to be burned down. Omar is here once more, and they're on to Cody, who flashed out of the way. Darshan going to try and make it happen, but a knock up there from Smithy could spell doom. Darshan taking the turret hit, but Afro threatening once again. Looks for the hook, does not find it onto Smithy.
That turret has been so clutch for Immortals. able to stay alive underneath it. It may finally fall here, though, probably trading for a top lane turret, but they get first turret.
Darshan threatening with the taunt, but doesn't commit the flash onto the tanky member of Immortals. Flame working on this turret, but no teammate means this wave push isn't that quick, and if he's not super speedy about it, might not even get it on this next wave, so IMT gonna have to make sure they commit for this trade, but looks like CLG only just managing to enter that top side, so Flame will have enough time to get the trade on structures, but like you mentioned, CLG will still get that extra gold for the first one.
Yeah, Flame able to get solo gold for this turret, at least, so that pulls him back to parity with Darshan as far as gold is concerned. Shen's still a pretty good duelist up against Kled, so I think Darshan will be pretty much okay for the remainder of this game.
Kind of seeing how the rest of the lanes are developing. Again, 6A still scaling up, but has a Zeal now, so kind of moving in towards what I assume is Static Shiv as his first completed item. Morello already done for Huhi. As they're still working on whatever first item. Ole's hooked up. Real good. Darshan puts up the refuge, gonna get played back in. Forcing the flash. Cody couldn't quite line up that final shot, but a huge amount of damage on the Shen.
Yeah, and it's a cannon wave, so there's not much defense that Darshan can mount for that turret. Ole's still walking through, doing his best to interrupt the recall. He's just gonna keep going.
Yep, sees him there. Takes a couple turret hits, but not a huge issue there. He does buy some time for his team. Turret's going to follow Smithy's here, but CLG already trading up to the top side. Flame cannot hold this 1v2.
Yeah, for all the work Ole's doing, Flame's experiencing the same on the other side of the map. Saves his flash, and the tempo is in the side of Immortals right now, but Jhin doesn't push quite as fast as Caitlyn. They just started 5 seconds early.
Yeah, Smithy going to help out here as well, so should be able to get this, but I think it will be another trade here. Unless Probelta maybe wants to go a roaming, but level 1 wall not great for covering distance. So Immortals, they get that turret, and CLG, yep, working on this one as well. So the big waves built up, long lanes being now built as both teams take out 2 turrets apiece. And CLG, they're still going. Immortals already pulled away. Darshan can't cancel any recalls, but CLG going to push this wave and likely back off, and that seems to be the play.
Yeah, if they were to push for the turret, they would be asking for it, because Probelta would be able to roam in with a Weaver's Wall, so pretty much just a turret trade. That's just trading resources back towards the 2 marksmen, and COD thinks they scale harder with the Caitlyn, so they're okay opting into that trade. Immortals also think they just want gold on Cody's son, hit those lethality items before anyone can stack armor, and try and win through that.
Well, another Drake will be up in a minute 50, and it is an Infernal, so maybe something to incite fights here between the 2 sides as IMT, also with a Mountain Drake they've just remembered. Definitely helped them in that initial push, but CLG doing well to trade evenly. Smithy, again, trying to use some of the tempo IMT built to look at the Rift Herald, but CLG are cognizant of that. They'll be able to check that area, prevent IMT from getting potential free objective.
Yeah, really pivotal moment in the game. They're even swapping back again, but there's just not any more turrets to trade. Rift Herald would be a distraction before the Infernal Drake. I'm interested that no one has actually set up that much around the Infernal Drake. They've been so worried about the tempo of killing the turrets that they haven't placed wards in that bottom river. I think the Rift Herald could also be pretty big since both mid lane outers are still up, but Mortal is going for that right away.
Yeah, actually looking for this mid turret now. Good bit of pressure being applied for here for IMT, but who he does return. Sorkshoes plus one thing guys built up, so plenty of damage as he shreds down that wave. But Probelta feeling much safer with his Banshees now completed as well. So get to these
That's an
mid-game points.
Incredibly defensive build by Leah. Mercury treads Banshee build. He's doing very little damage. So pretty much just trying to survive the laning phase. And then at that point, you'd be used mainly for late-game Weaver's Walls. Once he gets Morellonomicon and Void Staff, he'll be okay, but until then, he's really not a threat.
Yeah, I think he might be going Leandre's second, we'll see. I've talked to Probelta, he
Yeah,
did say that he doesn't like Morello's as much. You don't have to do it, like you said, it's kind of optional, but we'll have to see exactly where he goes, because like you said, certainly woefully behind in total damage here to Huhi, and this is really the point where Syndra tends to start snowballing games with 2 pen items, and I mean, Probelta, what's he going to do? Loses his Banshee dead to an ace in the hole, and just relegate it back to wave clearing.
Yeah, COD trying to use that as well to get control over the Infernal Drake. Kled would be able to teleport in if COD start this, but they can also get zone control here with traps. Stixxay moves into the river.
Oh my god, dodging that deadly flourish there from Jhin. CLG again, static shiv on Caitlyn, and plus their Syndra means they've got plenty of ways to quickly push up mid, and IMT will struggle to find a really good angle for a potential wall or some sort of engage. We're going to have to go soon because CLG are starting the Drake. Immortals do know though.
They kill it pretty fast. They're going.
Yep, all in. Gonna try and trap Omar got through. Does go over to Omar, but CLG is still fighting it out. Rek'Sai a little too far forward as Hui just commits the ultimate. Almost gets the kill, but barely gonna miss it as Flame. Over to TP in, double play there from Ole is good. And the grenades are gonna keep bouncing in. Hobart are trying to pick up another kill, but he can't quite find the last few rocks. Smithy finally dies as Hui gets the kill, and everything's just going in here. Standing out to finally commit it, but he actually kills him through the shield. Hui is gonna fall down there, and CLG kind of running on the wrong side as Pobelta looking to cut them all off.
Cody's son's still really healthy. He can clean up.
Hook, he's going to get flashed there. Cody now going to go in. There's the last rock going to take down Omar. And Flame looking to remount soon. Darshan, he wants the Triangle, but he's not going to get it. That's an ace for Immortals.
Just the fight they wanted. They do not get the Drake, but they get all the kills down onto CLG, and a great kill distribution onto Cody's son, who's now 5-0-3. On that Jhin. The Weaver's Wall did give them an okay start, but it was mainly the way they forced CLG to retreat out of that fight and the damage they were able to poke over the wall with. Watching this one more time, Weaver's Wall cuts him off, CLG gets the Drake. The fight really hasn't started yet. Hui burns everything onto Xmithy and actually does kick him out somehow. I'll have to see how Xmithy ends up falling in the back of this fight. This just E-stun. So Xmithy was being cheeky, and that's the only reason they picked up a kill here. Then no one tanks the Deadly Flourish or the hook for Hui. Allows Cody to finish him off, and Cody's absolutely untouched to a bunch of low-health CLG members. So at that point, it's just a matter of Pobelta flanking from one side. Defensive Syndra just needs the zone control. Quick triple for Cody's son. Nearly a penta if a few things go his way. And clutch remount by Flame right at the end. 5 kills for 1 at the end of it. And only the Infernal Drake for CLG.
Yeah, I was hoping for some sort of dramatic bouncing grenade quadra kill. Unfortunately, just a mid turret after the play there for IMT.
And we got to talk about the 4,700 damage Pobelta did in that team fight.
That's a lot.
Because we were just talking about how defensive his build was with Mercury Treads and a Banshee's Fail. He hit so many threaded volleys in that fight because he is not having any magic penetration. He's pretty much just working with the base damage to pick up the majority of his team's damage in that fight. Huge props to Pobelta on that Talia. Now he's got Leandries, as you mentioned, so he built defensive, still managed to be a threat, and now he can be a carry.
Yep, damage ready to go here. IMT looking for that next play. That mid-outer turret being taken is great for them as far as total map control goes. And with the Drake down, seems like Baron is going to be the next port of call, at least for getting Vision down. TP is up for Darshan. Ulti on the way as well for Shen. So Flame going to have to play a little closer to his team with his TP down for still half of its cooldown. But Stixxay, you can see, wants to try and get some farm, but is not very safe right now with no vision here for CLG on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and CLG is just much weaker in these fights now that we look at where Cody's son has built towards and how Pobelta has now picked up some damage.
All right, well, Ole's going to hook Omar. Deadly Flourish is good, but Ragnarok's going to protect him from all that CC. Oh my! I didn't think about that. Blasted Cone does not work while you're immune to CC as all lefts, but takes it down just in case. And that's going to be Blue Buff over to Syndra, so no harm there.
Don't give that Blast Cone to anyone else. Omar, it's yours. Your Blast Cone.
It absolutely is. Is Flame going to cut through these minions. Has a TMA now added to that Black Cleaver, so going to be shoving much faster here. And Darshan again grouped down to the bottom side of the map. We'll match Flame in just a second. But Immortals happy to play around this Baron for as long as necessary.
Yeah, CLG picked up a few kills early on in this one. Aphromoo was on point with his early hooks. Omar had some good early jungle pathing, but since then, it's been Immortals countering with some big-time plays, and they have the Mountain Drake right now, plus some good vision denial, so they're willing to go for this.
Oh.
Wall cuts him off.
Very nice from Pobelta.
Yep.
Baron health 50%. IMT may have a great setup here.
Pretty close.
Can't get in just yet. Flame actually on the other side of Lake. The hook on Omar to deny for a little while longer. Baron is low. Jhin able to get it down, and IMT now going to have to fight. CLG running into the pit as Ole. He's going to go down to Hui, I think, of the other end of it, but Cody far too low as CLG just dove into the back of the pit. A shutdown there for the Shen, but the rest of the squad's going to get away.
Oh, and they get out with only 2 deaths. That was so close to being a disaster there. Now CLG need to try and push off these death timers to make up for the gold given. 1,500 gold is what Baron gives. They've gotten about 1,000 off the kill, and they can equalize it with this turret.
Well, I'm going to grab mid, so turrets will be equal. It's now 4-4. IMC come back off their respawns, but Baron buff to use for the next few minutes as we watch this one again. A very bold Baron call.
Yeah, they just, even though they have Mountain Drake, they don't kill it that fast. The Weaver's Wall cuts them off, but notice how they're still finishing Baron as the fight starts. So by the time they're willing to fight, Ole and Flame are pretty much out of it. Ole miraculously doesn't die as he just kind of slips out the back of the fight, and then Flame never gets to remount. Luckily, they all had their flashes to make it over the back of the pit, at least for the survivors.
Well, Cody went down, suffers a death here for this game, but now with Rapid Fire Cannon finished, should feel pretty strong in the upcoming fight that Immortals are looking to set up here. Flame back with his TP. Darshan has his ult but no TP, although Vishen should be just fine with one or the other. See exactly how they want to set up this lane pressure. Should be well equipped for a good 1-3-1 or something similar. Gonna need to do a lot of damage here to CLG, and ideally taking at least an inhibitor turret, but a couple turrets for some gold is going to be nice regardless. Yeah,
not a huge amount of armor built up on CLG yet, so Cody's still doing a lot of damage, but if they can get these picks, no flash on Ole.
There's the TP, and this is going to be the fight for Immortals. Smithy actually zoning off Stixxay, looking for that 1v1 Flame, also going to force him out of the way. Burns the ulti in a very short range, though, but Cody is doing so much damage even to the tanks. Flame into the backline. Is Cody going to let it rip with the ulti? Omar low, shots firing in. Afro is going to go down as Flame did fall to Hui. Smithy dies as well. It's actually Pobelter, excuse me, that died.
Everyone's
so
low.
Still taking as best he can. Cody looking to play clean up one more time. Stixxay is going to fall. Headshot's almost enough. He could actually turn it back around, but Cody able to grab the triple kill.
Such a split fight that was. Stixxay got the Shen ultimate as he flashed over a wall, which then left the tanks of CLG, Aphromoo and Omar, alone kind of trying to cut through Ole, and this is continuing.
Oh, Ole!
Solo kill!
He's gonna get it, I think. Darshan with both shields. Can't walk through the box, but he's still going. There's Cody. Artificial Quadra on a rampage.
Hey, people were calling him out for KSing on Bard. Ole's had enough of that. He's willing to give this one over to Cody. Beautifully set up there.
Red buff steals, everybody books it. Aphromoo looking for a play, has the flash. Doesn't use it, let's look for the hook, but Immortals out scot-free. As you watch this again.
Oh, such close fights right here. Stixxay pathing down. And as Ole gets hooked, the damage can't follow. It's just Omar, Shen, and the Blitzcrank, but Stixxay has to respect the teleporting X50. So watch the Kled ultimate to the Shen ultimate. No one's helping Omar and Darshan. Cody, Pobelter, and Ole just get to work them down, and then it becomes this big 5v5. Cody finds the right corridor to open up with Curtain Call, lands all the bullets. Rek'Sai comes in for Darshan, and then it just becomes super split. Another execute flashing for Cody's son, and he's just wondering who he should pick right here. He steps on a trap. Bunch of headshots come through from Stixxay, nearly a miraculous outplay, but Knight's Vow gives enough damage reduction for Cody's son that he can pick up the last kill.
Nice play there, and you can see the most damage in that team fight by a pretty decent margin there for Cody. Just letting it rip with the Jhin. Only getting stronger as well, level 16, not too far away. IMC, Baron has dropped off, but built themselves up a few thousand gold in the lead, and still plenty of momentum to play with. BF Sword and a QSS now here for Cody's son, so should be pretty untouched in these fights, and Stixxay is close, but he's still not there for that 3-item mark. Yeah,
he really wants Rapid Fire Cannon, then he needs a Last Whisper to cut through Smithy and Flame. Cody's son's Jhin is terrifying. Stixxay's Caitlyn is also an elite pick, so it can turn into a carry battle. 9 kills versus 1 kill makes it seem like Cody's son is dominating, which he is, but it does swing back towards Caitlyn, or at least it has in the past. This is a nerfed Caitlyn. Less attack speed, not the same level of late game carry, but still pretty effective. I still really want to see this late game unfold.
Gonna have to watch the setup here for IMT. Break up in a few minutes. Looks like IMT did get the cloud that popped up ever so briefly, but Baron's not available for a few minutes, so looks like the map will just kind of reset itself once more. IMT still up not quite 4,000 gold, closer to 3,500 as Stixxay farming out the rest of his gold. Still a while to go. He's only 700 in the bank with that Zeal next to him, but again, just needs a few more minutes before things get a little bit better. Although, like you said, it's not really just 3 items for this Caitlyn, it's often 3.5, because you're usually in either a QSS or a Last Whisper, sometimes even both depending on the situation. Flame's causing problems in the bot side though, but he's pretty slippery as the Kled, and with the Stone Plate finished, pretty team fight ready as well as Pobelter going to roam down at Hui, just going to go with the ultimate route. It's great though! Long range as Pobelter just kiting away Darshan. That's going to be another kill. This time it's Flame grabbing the double.
The solo lane 2v2 by Pobelter and Flame comes up big right there. Hui just completely underestimating the damage of Flame, walks straight into a Kled. You're not allowed to do that. Kled does so much damage at this stage in the game, and Hui cannot blast through the 140 magic resist that Pobelter has built on his Taliyah.
Yep, credit again for Pobelter's build here. IMT trying to crack one of these inhibitor turrets while they've got a man advantage. 15 seconds on Darshan and Hui. Flash hook finds Cody, that's a good target. Not good by the power fist as the damage comes through for the Caitlyn. Cody is going to go down to Omar, can't peel off that Olaf. And 6A still letting it go. Pobelter gets ace in the hole, damage is good. Omar, his ultimate wears off as Afro looks for another hook, he finds Flame. Ole, they're going to hook in onto Afro, so maybe good turn around, but Shen is going to ride it in, make it a 2 for 4 as Xmithie may have cancelled that. Darshan does not join as Flame looks to remount. Needs a little more courage, doesn't quite get it once again. Dies in the act.
Just when he thinks CLG is losing control of the game, they pull it right back. Clutch hook by Aframu onto Cody, shutting him down, not letting him be a part of the fight, and allowing Stixxay to free hit for the majority of that chase.
Missy threatening onto Darshan, tunnels out of the way. And Ole will be escorted out to safety by his jungler. Baron up in 10 seconds or so, by the way, so everyone going to have to get back there ASAP to take that one down. And Stixxay, no last whisper just yet, but getting a bit of gold there. Now has a rapid fire cannon completed, so we're going to get that late game we asked for.
They could try and take this on spawn. Flame's still dead for 10 seconds and a bunch of Immortals recalling. They will do well to check here.
Should be going, oh no, might be late. Yeah, had to slap the plant, only half health, so not a bad spot for Immortals. Cody's done immediately. Curtain calls in, Pobelter's going to cut them off and leave them in the pit. Ole looking to go down pretty quickly here as Xmithie. Actually, I think trying to steal it. Hui did take down Ole, but Flame actually tying up Stixxay, might have got the kill by himself. It's so close, Stixxay somehow alive, and Baron is actually being finished by Immortals, so they do get it as Darshan low, but Stixxay still firing away. He's got absolutely no health at all, and Xmithie flashes forward and still can't kill him. Pobelter able to grab the double as Hui falls down. Stixxay finally goes down to the Prey Seeker, and that's Baron and 4 dead as Immortals take the fight.
Might have even been a Bramble Vest that kills Stixxay right at the end, and that was huge from Immortals. They check it just the right time, and even though CLG would want to pull off when that happens, the Weaver's Wall prevents them from doing so. Xmithie zeroes in on an Omar guard. The rest of Immortals zeroes in on the fight, and they take control of the game.
Chaotic, but that's where Immortals seem to thrive. Mid-inhib is going to fall down as Immortals finally crack the base of CLG. So much going on in this game, and barely 30 minutes into it. Did I say I love this patch yet? I love this patch.
So action-packed, and CLG trying to rush this down. Curtain call opens up. Hey, time to run away. Too bad Omar's trapped. He has no way out. Xmithie then traps him in the cage, fights him down, and that allows Immortals to take the Baron on the backside of this, but do not understate what Flame did. He took Stixxay down to a sliver, and that allows Immortals to push through right here because it's just Hui. They pop his Banshee spell, has a fail flash on the side, actually. Then Xmithie right here, just Stixxay trying to shoot him down. It was the Prey Seeker that takes him down, but Bramble Vest helped face the time.
It was close. And at this point, Xmithie...
Never question a play-by-play calls during a fight. They're too practiced.
I don't know about that. 5,900 damage for Pobelter again. Looking so good on this Taliyah. Cody did what he could, but Pobelter is a huge source of damage in this team comp. I mean, it helps when the fights last forever and kite through multiple pieces of ground, so you don't throw out one rock instead of 5, but still credit where it's due.
Yeah, one of the reasons I feel like Pobelter was so confident picking this Taliyah into the Syndra is because he's comfortable with this build. He says, yeah, I can do Mercury Jet's Banshees. Taliyah's busted. I can still do a bunch of damage. And he does. He skips the Morellonomicon, and that's the key that really unlocked this build for him to work. Being conservative with his mana, still keeping the lane even, and then never letting the Syndra snowball. So he's getting all the utility from Taliyah, even against such a dominant laner, such a Syndra.
Yep, Ryla's now added to the mix, so extra health and slows to, again, just amplify all that teamfight control and damage. Stixxay, though, has finished that last wisp, but did not have it around that Baron fight. So we'll see if that changes things in the next engagement. Baron's still up for a minute, though. IMT on the offensive.
Yeah, and they want to make this happen. This would be a 2-0 on the split. Matches IMT over CLG and give them sole control of first place. They want to make this Baron work.
He's taking a lot there from me. That's too far forward. IMT able to get that kill as Cody once again. Curtain calling away. He wants Stixxay into the backline as Omar's dodging forward. Good Redemption's going to reset it all as Darshan has found the flank, but Ole with another flame with his dying breath goes down to Hui, but's able to save the fight. Peeling again for their carries. IMT, this may be too strong as Flame with an amazing flank. Going to find himself in onto Stixxay. Flame is doing so much work to clean up the fight. fight. The shutdown onto Smithy, but it does not matter. Darshan, the only member of CLG left alive, he's going to fight for his life. But it's not gonna last. Oh, it barely does as Cody had one bullet left, but IMT still pushing in for the win.
Yeah, Flame wants to recall, but they want to push for the win. Just Darshan against the world. I don't think he's gonna be able to do it.
No need to recall. Darshan doesn't even hit that. Now remount there for Flame. No final kill for Darshan as Afro trying to kite it out. Hooks one back into the fountain. The laser! Not enough even for the dismount as IMT gonna see if they can't get one more kill. The Nexus exposed, and Immortals will take control of first.
Big smiles coming out from Immortals. Cody Sun, 10, 2, and 10 to help Immortals solidify their spot at first place 7 weeks through the summer split.
What a bloody final game there as well. 38 kills. And of the 24 Immortals had, Cody participated in 20. I think a standout performance across the rift there for Immortals. I mean, Flame might have 5 deaths, and those last 2 might have looked a little silly in those 2 major team fights, but did absolutely what he needed to do to help the Immortals win those fights.
Yeah, and Immortals has their sights set on playoffs and worlds, but it's good to stop and take a breath to realize what they just did. Looking at this team that missed playoffs last split, looking at Xmithy that recently was on CLG to now beat them 2 matches in a row. Cody Sun and Ole. Cody Sun just started playing pro in 2017. Finding so much success this late into the summer split has got to feel good.
I think the story for Immortals has been just incredible this summer. I mean, almost kind of a bunch of like just different players from across so many different annals of history, from different leagues, from different places, kind of coming together, almost like a reject squad in some ways. But apparently when you put these 5 players together, they do incredible things.
Yeah, Misfits is the team over in Europe, but that's how you'd classify this team. Ole played over in the LMS. Flame could not find a starting role over in the LCK. Pobelter and Xmithy both moved off of CLG. Cody Sun, not even considered a pro player in 2017. This is a team that Immortals picked for the players' attitude so they could grow together. And that's what they're doing, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Growth has looked very good as they take down CLG in a very fun 2-1 series. CLG, I think, showing that their strengths are very good. This is a team with very high highs, but I think similarly low lows. I mean, when they lose, this was a big fight for them. I've been impressed with how CLG were able to try and kind of wrestle this game back. Because in a lot of CLG's losses, they've just kind of rolled over and died. Not the case here, though, putting up a fight.
Yeah, always willing to try and make plays, and I think Game 3 was the closest game of the series. One thing we do have to touch on, though, Omar God, don't get to see him too much in the LCS. This was definitely an off game for him. A lot of the early dives went wrong. Omar ended up falling in a lot of those situations, and they couldn't quite scale up to that late game. Those mid-game team fights, so close and so chaotic, and just not quite enough skill shots landed by CLG. A lot of missed blitz hooks by Aframu, normally more clutch than that, and that's what they need to be able to land to make first place. Not that bad, you know. They lose there in second. Oh no, they can still get a playoff bye. But very important game at this stage of the season.
I think so as well. And I think, look, you think all the way back to the draft and how many jungle bans happened in that final game.
Yeah.
Can't blame Emma too much.
Puts you in a tough spot.
Certainly tough indeed. Well, for a first-hand account on that series, let's hear from Captain Flowers and the Immortals bot laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm here with Cody Sun, who along with Immortals has just secured sole possession of first place in the North American LCS. Tell me how that feels to take down the team you were tied with and say that is our spot.
Definitely feels really good. We didn't know we were going to win today. I think CLG put up a great fight, and I think we were just able to pull through with our teamwork, and yeah, we were just able to win.
Now, part of that win was your performance specifically on that Jhin. You were fantastic to watch, had a lot of great plays, a lot of great outplays. Break this pick down a little bit for me. Is this something you in particular wanted to play? Was it something the team wanted you to play? How did you come to the conclusion, let's play this, and how did you get so damn good at it?
Well, for the Jhin pick, so right now in Korea, they started doing the Doran's ring first, and it's like super good in lane because you can constantly shove with Q and you don't run out of mana. And yeah, with the lethality buffs, Jin's definitely been a top tier AD. And yeah, I mean, yesterday my team picked me Kalista and I felt really useless. So I was just like, all right, I think just pick me Jhin. I can just beat it in any matchup. And I'm just really confident in this. So yeah, I just picked Jhin and then that's it.
That confidence is definitely based in something real because it was very impressive here today. Now, you guys still have a couple weeks left in regular split. Having taken down CLG, that was probably your toughest remaining match. The matches that you do have left, a lot of people are looking at them now, expecting you to walk away with wins from those, expecting you to go into the postseason, into the playoffs, looking strong, looking like you're going to keep that #1 spot. Does that put any extra pressure on you guys, or is it going to be like what we heard from McSmithy yesterday, where every game's got that same attitude, you're just going to go at it time by time? What's it like for you guys sitting in this position now?
In our position, right now we're not looking like we're gonna like stop practicing or anything like that. We're just gonna practice really hard every day and just try our best against every team. Even against FlyQuest, we almost lost to them yesterday. And yeah, we're not taking our opponents lightly. And I know that Dignitas's bottom lane has been looking really strong right now. So I'm looking forward to playing against them. And yeah, we'll see.
All right, one more time for Cody Sun, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic performance today along with the rest of his team. And we're gonna be seeing more of them next week as we come towards the end of Summer Split. But for now, we're gonna toss things back to the analysts one last time.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. We have an official #1 team.
Finally.
At least for a week.
Yeah, that
Immortals can be proud. They've made it back to the tops of the table. Let's remember that this is the team that started super hot at the beginning of the split, had a small stumble kind of at that midway point, and are now regaining their momentum moving towards the postseason.
And they do it in one of the craziest weeks in terms of patches ever. There's random picks all over the place, 10 new champions, game to game, stuff like that going on. So very impressive to actually come away with a 2-0 looking decent.
Yeah, and on the topic of Champions Select, I find it so hilarious that our final 2 games of the day on both streams, Caitlyn is opted to be let up, something that had been basically on the ban table the entire weekend, even for weeks here almost. It gets left up, goes over into the hands of CLG, all for naught though, because the Jhin goes off once again.
And the thing is, like, I can understand a little bit, like, you've played a bunch of series so far. It's the last game of the weekend. You haven't let the Caitlyn through yet, and you're kind of like, is it still the most important thing to ban on red side? Let's ban all the tanks. Let's ban some more tanks, because those seem really annoying. And then the Caitlyn goes through, gets taken early by CLG, and I do think that, for the most part, that was actually a bit of a problem because he was shoving up constantly, and CLG made repeated gank attempts down on the bot lane. They just usually misplayed them, and it ended up in situations that were going even or in Immortals' favor off of CLG's pressure, which is not something you want to expect.
No, I think that's huge. I think you still saw a lot of Caitlyn's strengths accentuated in these games, even if the win didn't come through for CLG this time around. That pure pushing power within the lane phase, and then that ability to, dive down into that lane with the Shen, bring all the resources down. As you mentioned, the execution wasn't there to come away with kills cleanly, and therefore Immortals was able to strike back in a more cohesive manner.
Right, it's the kind of game where, you get the Kled killed early by Omar God, really nice gank, but then once he started going down bottom, he ate an exhaust in the Flay when he was going to get the Thresh, and the team comp's very telegraphed in terms of what it wants to do. Obviously, with Shen, Olaf, and Caitlyn Blitz, you're going to just dive bot lane over and over, but they never blew the map open, and then they did get the turret, I think, around 12 minutes, but it didn't come with any kills. At that point, Immortals had left that one, and slowly over time, they start finding their own fights as the map opens up more and more.
Yeah, the kills didn't come for CLG. They came for Immortals, and they came hard and fast. Ace at 18 minutes for Immortals around the Drake. We're going to take a look at this one, because this is where things really opened up. Maybe not. This is the Baron Steel.
That's a funny looking Drake.
We were going to watch this anyway, so we'll watch it now. Smithy, huge heads up play here, goes in on Omar God, knowing, hey, I can zero him out while he's trapped in the pit, and then just turn on this low health Baron ourselves, while Talia, Pobelt are doing work on the opposing side, pushing out all the priority members of CLG on the bottom side of your screen.
Pobelter, nice wall as well to stop them from potentially being able to go help out Omar God, so they kind of left him in like the you're trapped in here with me, and the Rek'Sai wins that duel, and then very close fight by 6-8. There was a number of situations where he was almost able to kite out, and if he's a little further ahead, you can see where the Caitlyn becomes a massive issue because she just doesn't die, and she gets the net, the push away, the long-range autos.
Yeah.
But just a little bit behind the rest of the Immortals team comp, and ends up getting killed at a lot of the end of these team fights.
Yeah, so Cody Sun will pick up player of the game yet again on the Jhin. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This guy has a pure comfortability on the champion, and if he gets rolling, there's no stopping his aggression on the champion. And then when you pair him with someone someone like Ole, who just seems like he's only ever got his foot on the gas pedal. He's never letting go. These two guys are someone to be feared in the bot lane.
Probably the most aggressive support in the league, I'd say. I mean, a lot of people are playmakers in terms of like, oh, you see Smoothie doing a lot of nice stuff and Afro at the same time. But if there's one person who just seems to always be running forward and looking for that next hook, that next play, it has to be Ole, I think, as the guy who is kind of leading the pack of bloodthirsty supports.
Yeah, so at the end of that interview, Captain Fars was asking Cody Sun about the pressure, right? The schedule that they have from this point onward is technically easier in that they've beat some of the other top teams, and now there is kind of that expectation moving towards the postseason that they will perform. I mean, do you feel like this is a #1 squad in Immortals that should, that people need to basically look at aspirationally in terms of like they're the giant that needs to be taken down?
Not necessarily. I think just not enough of a track record of any team really right now to be like, oh yeah, that's the team to beat. We keep trying to put someone up there. It's like, oh, now I think it's CLG, now it's CSM. Once again, it comes back to Immortals. I think it's about time that we just recognize that the top 3 teams are extremely close.
Yes.
And I don't think there's someone you necessarily want to aspire to be necessarily just because they are very unique in the same way that you wouldn't want to be CLG if you're TSM. That's just a different team. And Immortals much the same way.
Top 3 teams are very close. Immortals is 1 match ahead. 2 other teams that are very close right now, Team Envy and FlyQuest, locked in battle in Game 3 right now. We're going to toss you over to some bonus coverage to see who takes that series. Enjoy.